now on all of this, let's bring in criminal defense attorney Sara Azari. Sara, thanks for being with us this morning. Just this news that the FBI has visited the Laundrie house over the weekend asking for DNA samples, it appears, to perhaps match to the crime scene. What does that tell you?
Good morning, Brianna. This is huge. This is probably the biggest development in this case since Gabby's body was found. And the reason this is big is because up until now, we've had these bits and pieces of circumstantial evidence, like, Arsenio Hall used to say things that make you go, the domestic dispute before her disappearance, his interactions with people, he was hitchhiking, his disposition, his words, the fact that he came back without her. But now we're entering the world of forensics. And in today's day and age, with today's technology, DNA evidence is pretty ironclad and pretty difficult to dispute. So if there is a match between samples taken from the scene of the crime, or where Gabby's body was found, and Brian Laundrie's DNA, then that places him right there. It's going to be very difficult for him in a court of law to come in and say, I don't know what happened to her. She disappeared. I have no knowledge. He's not going to be able to do that in his defense. So this is really huge because DNA evidence in homicide cases either confirms the suspect or excludes him from suspicion. And so more shall be revealed once we have these results.
He has not, though, been named a suspect in Petito's death, despite this huge manhunt for him. How are you seeing that?
Well, we heard on September 14th when he disappeared that he's just a person of interest, but he is really a suspect. That might be what law enforcement's doing to sort of protect the integrity of their investigation until they find him. But the fact that he has been federally indicted on what's really a very minor financial crime that in most jurisdictions is potentially a misdemeanor tells us that they want to bring him to justice really on the homicide. And so I think he is a suspect, despite however you want to label it.
Let's listen to some comments from Gabby's father. He delivered a heartfelt eulogy, and he also made an apparent reference to his daughter's relationship with Brian.
If there's a relationship that you're in that might not be the best thing for you, leave it now. We've got more emails of men and women doing that. Taking care of themselves first. Take care of themselves first.
I mean, an appeal he's making to people who are in unhealthy relationships. We do know, Sara, that Moab police investigating officers who we saw on video how they handled a domestic dispute between the couple. How should they have handled that?
The response to domestic violence calls really sort of escalated and became more aggressive across the country, starting the early 90s with the O.J. Simpson case. And I can tell you, having defended, dozens of these, that when police show up, typically one person is walking away with handcuffs. And so the idea that they showed up and did not arrest Laundrie or Petito says a few things. That the idea of arresting somebody for domestic violence is really within the discretion of those police officers. They show up, they look for marks, they look for injuries, they listen to both sides of the story. Often one police officer listens to one person, another to the other person, and they make a determination as to credibility. And in this case, with body cam footage, thank God, they didn't believe that they could identify any first aggressor and that warranted an arrest. And so they decided that the best thing to do under the circumstances was to have them have this sort of cooling off period. And I just think that, if Laundrie was brought to justice and in custody, there wouldn't be as much of a focus on blaming or looking for wrongdoing by third parties or third-party departments like the Moab Police Department so soon, at least, And so I think the idea that we're focused on who else could be at fault is got a lot to do with not having the real person and the real person of interest in custody. But, this is an investigation. They will look into what the officers did that they shouldn't have done, or, what they neglected to do. But given that there were no visible injuries, that the stories were sort of conflicting, I don't see it as that easy to say, they abused their discretion, they should have arrested someone.
Yeah, I mean, look, there appeared to be some minor marks. They were on Brian Laundrie. So I think there are so many things to be learned from that video and from that interaction, perhaps for future cases.
Right.
Sara, really appreciate you speaking with us this morning. Thanks.
Thank you.